Hey guys.
Hello everyone.
We are back again with another episode of the It's Not Just You podcast.
Yeah, baby.
And the sun is shining today.
The sun is shining
in Birmingham.
And we are tuning in here on the 4th of September.
I know, gosh.
Which is Jessie McLean's birthday.
Woo!
Happy birthday, Jess.
That is wild,
We're
isn't
in
it?
September, guys.
I cannot believe that. The year's... Actually, you know, people are like, oh, the year's nearly over. It's not nearly over. There's still another 4 months.
Okay, for you, has this year gone fast or slow?
Average. I don't think it's actually gone very fast.
I know, because people keep saying, oh my goodness, I've blinked and it's September. But I'm like, nah, when I actually think through the year, I feel like it's been quite long.
A lot of stuff's happened. I think it's more just like, we go again. It's like, that's more the feeling for me. Another September, like, here we go again.
Yeah.
And it is weird because, I mean, I guess the work that I do is actually more revolved around like the school timetable. So September does actually feel like a bit of a new start. But
like a ramp up.
It's still just, you know, you're 24, 25 and it's still like, it's like, you know, you're back at primary school and you've just been to Clark's to get your new shoes.
I know. With the little toy in the sole.
I never had those.
Oh, why?
I was neglected as a child. No, joking. Because I don't know, I just never had them. To be fair, I wasn't that fussed, but I used to love getting my shoes from Clark's.
And you could have the little clear plastic bit in the bottom where you could see the doll in the bottom of the shoe.
And the boys had the cars. It's quite
Did they?
sexist, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Girls had the dolls. It was like a Polly Pocket thing.
A car.
Yeah, exactly. You'd have to wear boys' shoes. But then what even is a boy's shoe?
I know. But just the whole energy of like, going and getting your pen. Like, why did I need a new pencil case every year?
No. But like, there's part of me that like, I wish I could still, I could still do that. I might go and do that.
Yeah.
Pencil case, lunchbox, water bottle, pens,
But like,
shoes.
you know, when you'd be like persuading your mum, like, no, it is broken. Like, I need a new pen. Like,
I feel like my mum was quite on board with let's kit you out.
No, I think it was just the energy
Because
of like,
in reality, you don't need a new pencil case every year.
Well, that's what I mean. So why was I getting one every? Like, it's not very sustainable.
It was more it's about the mental state of September.
Start. September, guys. Happy September.
Do you remember?
We've got an absolute treat of an episode for you today.
We really do.
So let's dive in.
It's going to be a fun one.
Today's podcast episode title is It's Not Just You Who Has Been Pied.
Flip.
And if you don't know what pied means, we're talking about facing rejection in the area of relationships.
Yeah.
The area of dating.
Yes.
The area of you have feelings for someone and it isn't reciprocated. And the feelings that come with that. It's a big topic, guys. It's a big topic.
It really is.
It's a juicy one, I'd say.
We've got some stories to tell when some pies have been received.
Some pies have been received.
Some big, fat, juicy pies have been dealt to Soph and Rach.
And, you know, I think the headline would be, even just talking about this can just feel a bit embarrassing.
Yeah.
But
we're saying no to embarrassment today.
We are saying a big no to embarrassment today.
Because
we're coming on a podcast to talk about being pied.
This is how you get rid of shame and embarrassment, is to just let it out.
And I would say this is a real, it's not just you topic, where just from that sense of like, who likes to talk about being pied?
No one.
And also, no, we're not just talking about like you have initiated a conversation with a guy, you've told them that you like them and they've said no. We are also just generally talking about the thing of like when you really like someone and you know they don't like you back, or it's just not the vibe.
Yeah.
The feeling of rejection, you get me?
Pretty much.
Oh gosh.
Should we kick off with a story?
Go on then.
Right, get yourselves comfortable, guys.
Grab a cup of tea.
Story time.
Buckle in.
We're safe. Here we go.
So is this going to be a time that you've got pied?
Oh yeah.
Okay, brilliant. Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go, baby.
Okay. So it's a rainy evening. So we're going back to the uni days.
The uni days. This is a cracker of a story.
Circa 2019. even maybe a little bit before that. So there was a man.
Once upon a time, there was a man.
There was a boy and a girl. No, so my story is there was a situation with me and a guy where I would say there was probably a good year of just unspoken vibes, let's call it that.
Flirty dynamics.
Would you say that?
Yeah.
I think unspoken vibes is the best way to put it.
Yeah, unspoken vibes. We all know what we mean, but what do you mean by that? Just to clarify.
We all know what you mean. But actually, could you just say what you mean by that?
But like, do you know what I mean?
I
Like,
just
to what
mean that,
extent? Because are you talking about you were going on dates?
No. The vibes are like, you're in the same social setting and, you know, let's say it's a party, a gathering, you're gravitating towards each other, you're chatting, you know, maybe a bit of text back and forth, but nothing that's like amounting to anything. And very much up and down, like very much like maybe a couple weeks where it's like, it's a bit more intense, then it goes away, then it's back, then it's... So basically just like... And then even other people feeding information in of like, oh, they like you, or oh, they've said this.
I heard they said this to them,
but
mate.
no comments have been directly spoken from myself or the other party. So it's all just a big fat question mark, really.
Yeah.
But you know that there's something
from your
there.
side, you fancy him?
I think I was like... Would I have said I fancied him?
You're attracted to him?
I think it was more just the vibes of like, there's something going on here.
Yeah.
Don't really know what it is. But
it's obviously not a no.
No, it's obviously not a no because I'm engaging with it. So yeah, that's
it's hopeful.
That's what we'll say. So that's been going on for a little while.
A year, yeah.
Then there was one evening where we were both on this night out, got into this big chat about essentially kind of all the vibes or things that have been going on over the past year or so, whatever. And I guess it wasn't necessarily like sat there like, I like you too, but essentially almost naming like the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
Kind of like there's been something going on. Shared a kiss. Oh,
we shared a kiss under the stars. In the
far
uni.
from it.
In the uni.
In the student union.
Student union. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm thinking, great. I mean, I don't think it was necessarily like, oh my gosh, like, you know, this is it. But it was like, we've had a clarifying conversation.
Yeah.
Obviously.
You are interested.
Yeah.
Like,
So
you find him attractive.
we've had this big
he
long
finds
chat.
you attractive. Blah,
And
blah, blah.
yeah. So obviously, yeah, the night out finishes, go to bed, wake up in the morning, text goes straight to Rach, you'll never guess what's happened.
Yeah. I'm at this point in the library.
She's in the library.
So
I'm still in bed.
at home, recovering.
Yeah, I'm still in bed. She's like, get to the library now. So I'm like, right, getting the clothes on, quick, jump in the shower, get onto campus. She's in the library. We go down into like, I like go and sit next to her in the library, put my stuff down, and then we just go straight to the library cafe, big fat debrief for 45 minutes, you know?
Yeah.
Just getting...
all deadlines and work are scrapped.
It's like, sat there for like a good, half an hour, 40 minutes, just, right. You know, as girls do, just chat.
And like, let's be honest, in this conversation, we did take things to the extreme.
You did.
Okay, I did, fine. I took things to the extreme because also in the context of like... So, hasn't had a boyfriend.
Oh gosh, you always find a way to bring it up, don't you?
It's becoming a meme. I'm not even saying it out of that place. Like, I'm just giving the context of like, because you hadn't liked someone. And because I hadn't known you to like someone, when this whole thing happened and like there was this year build up and it was like, this guy's great and like Soph's great. Wow. Like they've established something more. They've kissed. Oh my goodness. And like, if I'm being honest, my mind did run away with me. And I had concluded like, Soph's basically going to have a boyfriend. And I always remember like specifically saying to her like, oh my goodness, like he's going to meet your mum. Like, will your mum like invite him on holiday? Like, what do you think your mum's vibes would be with like you having a boy, blah, blah, blah. Like,
I mean, if this just doesn't sum up girls, I don't know what does. Like,
let's just say we're taking it quite far.
Anyway.
Key piece of information, Soph's phone was upstairs.
My phone is upstairs with my laptop and my stuff. So we're sat there, chat's dying.
You're getting quite gassed, like
coming to a close. And then I just remember you being like, oh, well, like, has he messaged you since yesterday? And then I remember just going, no, but I'm assuming that like when I go up and get my phone, there'll be a text waiting for me. Like quite confident. So we're like, brilliant.
Well, yeah, why wouldn't you think that?
Yeah, so we're like, brilliant. Let's go back to the stuff and see what he said. So go upstairs, back to the stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, there's a text there waiting. Big fat paragraph with a big fat pie.
Yeah, like you probably saw his name and thought, oh, as expected,
Oh,
like,
of course.
First date request, where are we going?
Yeah.
And then she pulls
I'll
it
clear the
open,
diary.
and I'm literally like sat there like, what's it? Like, what does it say? What does it say? What does it say? And so his face is just like, and what did it say?
It was basically just like, yeah, like like last night was great. It was like so good to chat, blah blah blah. But yeah, actually, I don't want anything, and yeah,
Nice.
cool. You know, just like, what the heck?
Yeah. I mean, we don't need to go into all my thoughts and
No.
opinions on that because it's not the space. But I mean, overall, I don't think that's a great move from anyone, from a guy, from a girl. Like, fair enough if you're confused, but yeah, I mean, it's just confusing to get your head around when one moment they're saying they want something, then the next morning they're saying they don't.
But do you know what I would say is that I think it was actually quite clarifying, because I think based off of my reaction, it basically, I think, told me I don't actually like him that much.
Yeah.
Because even though it was just like, what a dumb thing to do, like, that's horrible. Like, I wasn't like sad. I was just kind of like, well, that's a bit of a dick move.
Yeah.
And then it was just like, oh, well. Like, that was kind of like, do you know what I mean? It wasn't like,
Yeah.
I was crying in my pillow. Like,
Yeah.
it was just like, oh.
Yeah.
So I think in some ways it was good, because it was like, well, clearly I didn't like him that much if
Yeah.
I wasn't like that upset about it.
But
It was more
so-
just the principle.
Was there any element of you that was like, ooh, the rejection?
Yeah, because it's like, well, it's just confusing.
Yeah, your mind just goes to why.
Yeah.
Like, why?
Yeah, like,
Like, was I a bad kisser? No, obviously not. But like, your mind does like run wild, where it's like, I just don't get that. Like,
yeah. And I'm sure, I don't know, we never really spoke about it after that. So I'm sure there was like other reasons. But I think yeah, it's more just like, well, that's not very nice, because, you know, we've had that conversation. I've been vulnerable, like, and then you kind of just almost in that conversation let me believe like, oh, there's going to be something that comes from it or whatever. And then within a matter of hours.
I know. But
So
I think
yeah.
the thing is though, that is always
and it is
kind
always
of,
just embarrassing.
well, yeah, that's the thing. Even though you didn't like really like this guy, we probably both have had times where like we have like liked someone and it's like that next level of rejection. But whether you really like someone or you don't, it does always bring up the questions for yourself of like, why?
yeah.
Like, what's wrong with me? And it's very easy to then start going down like a path or a tunnel of basically like self-deprecation, where it's like, oh, it's because I'm not like this, or I'm not like that, or I'm not like this girl, or I'm like blah, blah, blah. And I would say that's probably the hardest thing about being rejected. Ultimately, you're putting yourself out there and saying, do you like me? And when you're told no, like, I just don't really think there's any other kind of scenario like it in the same way. Because
you wouldn't go to a friend, would you?
Well, yeah, because even if you go like for a job or something, like, and you're applying and you get rejected, there can sometimes be like, you know, quite clear reasons, like you don't have the qualifications or whatever. But when you're like telling someone, do you like me? Do you want to date me? It's basically a character assessment or like a
looks
looks assessment of like, so do you like me?
Yeah.
Like, do you like me enough to want to date me? And like, still there's all the context of there can be things that there might not be actually anything that they think about you, but it's about them or whatever. But it is just opening yourself up to, I would say, quite a unique type of rejection where it's just like, cool, so you just don't like who I am.
Yeah. It's just, it's not like anything else really, is it?
Yeah.
Because you've also been, to put yourself in that situation, you've had to have been vulnerable.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way you can't end up in that situation and not have essentially had to let them into at least some part of you or share something that feels very vulnerable. So you're already feeling like probably quite like, sensitive. Like,
Yeah.
and then, the rejection comes, and then I think it is very hard to then not let your thoughts go down a tunnel of, it's because I'm like this, it's because, or I think it's because I'm not all these things, and often that's in relation to another person. Like, I don't know, not always, but I do think often it can be, oh, well, if I was more like that or more like this, or if I wasn't like this, or if I looked like this person or whatever it is, it's so difficult to not let your mind go down those like thought tunnels, because if you like a person, then obviously all you're looking for is for them to approve of you and to like you back.
Yeah, and I think the reality is there are, like we were saying at the start, there's so many ways that like you can be rejected in terms of it doesn't always look like that thing of you having like a direct conversation about it. It could be that someone just airs you, or like you've just started like going on a few dates and then someone like doesn't want to go on anymore, or like just all of those, or even like we were saying, like where it's like someone could cheat on you. That's like a form of rejection, where it's like, oh, they don't want to be with you, like they don't like you enough. All of those different like areas. But I think, I would say like the initiating a chat does just bring up this whole new realm of like, oh, it's just so intense. Like where in this kind of scenario of rejection you have a direct conversation about it and you hear like from someone's mouth themselves like, no, I don't see you like that. In some ways it's the best thing because it's the most clarifying thing.
Rather than them just ghosting you.
But in other ways it's also just like so intense.
It's stabbed to the heart.
And it's just like when you know you need to do it, like we've probably all found ourselves in situations where it's like you kind of like someone, you don't know how they feel, and you have a choice at that point, like do I like talk about it? Do I tell them or do I not? And when it comes to like actually talking to someone about it, it is like so scary.
It's sickening.
It's sickening to say the least. Like I've had to do that, and it is honestly like you just feel like, you know, when you just lose all perspective, like, and it suddenly feels like this conversation is like you being like off, like being sent to go and die or something. like genuinely the extreme of like, you're like, oh no, I know I've got these feelings. I need to talk to the person about it. I want to see where they're at. And you kind of know you can't continue on without doing that. And you're like, right, so I have to have a chat. So then like everything from the initiation of like, how do you have a chat? Like, oh, for goodness sake, like you have to like message or be like, oh, like, are you free or whatever? Then like, how do you bring it up? Then like, what do you actually say? And the whole thing like is so intense.
Yeah.
And you literally just feel like ill. But like, I think it's that thing of just losing complete perspective where it's like, it's actually like fine in terms of like, it's a pretty normal thing to fancy someone, to like, it's natural. Like if you've got two single people and you hang out and, you know, you find them attractive and you end up with the conclusion of like, maybe I like them. In the grand scheme of things, that's not weird. That's not abnormal. That's not like, that's a very common thing. But suddenly when it comes to you having to tell them, it feels like the most embarrassing thing in the world. And it's just not. Like people have those kind of conversations every day, like the whole time. But because you are risking, like I said earlier, just the response of no, I don't like you, and point blank rejection, it just feels so scary.
Yeah. Oh gosh. I just do think though it is one of the most kind of vulnerable things you can do, because I think it also depends as well of like, I guess where we spoke in the episode before about like friendship with guys, I think it's very much dependent on, I guess, the stakes around the conversation in terms of, I don't know, if it's someone that you met at the weekend, oh, do you want to go on, do you want to go for a drink or whatever? That doesn't feel that deep. If it's like, oh, we've got friendship or there's stuff that maybe feels like it could be like
we are coming at it more from that angle.
It's like, oh, flip, is this like, even those thoughts of like, is this the right thing to do? Like actually, I don't know, is it better for me to just internalize all this stuff and try and kind of push it down and deal with it myself? And in reality, that just, well, I don't think it really ever works. Maybe it does for some people. I don't know. I just feel like there's always just going to be a question mark over that person if you've liked them at one point and you've never told them, like, because you just don't know, do you? Like, if you don't ask them or if you don't have the conversation. And like, I very much have kind of, well, not a theory, but I kind of do think that if you have liked someone at one point and you don't know, like, you've never asked them, you've never had a conversation, I just don't know if you can ever, like, while you're, I guess, still single, fully kind of move on or allow yourself to move on, because it's always just like a what if.
Yeah. You just don't know. Like, it's like, yeah. And it's similar to what we said in that other podcast episode, but like, it's just better to just clarify it. Like, because even just for your friendship, then it's just like, cool, we're both on the same page, we both know. But yeah, I guess that context is in the context of telling someone that you've liked for a while or that is like a close friend.
Yeah.
And like you say, it is like way lower stakes when it's just like a random person and you're just like, cool.
Okay.
Like,
but I do think that, like, I've spoken to people as well where I think, especially for guys, where obviously the norm, in inverted commas, not so much now, I don't think, but it can feel like maybe guys put themselves out there more than girls. So obviously, I guess just probability is you're probably going to get rejected more.
Yeah, it becomes less of a big thing.
But and I have spoken to guys where actually, yeah, maybe some of them are low stakes moments, but actually the build up of multiple, like, putting themselves out there rejected, like, it does start to have an effect on you where, maybe in the moment it wasn't that deep to do it. But then when you look back and think, so this person rejected me and this person and this person and this person, like, oh, is that, again, that thought, like, narrative or that thinking of, is there something wrong with me? Why do all these people keep saying no? So I think overall just rejection is hard because even if in the moment it feels kind of low stakes, it can still add to a bigger picture of I've been rejected as a person. And then if it's high stakes, it can just feel like, oh my gosh, this is like the most difficult and hard, embarrassing thing to have to do. So yeah, and rejection sucks.
And it's also just that, like, the reality is, the reason that it brings up all those questions is because hopefully someone, if they, you know, reject you or break up with you, they're not going to outline every exact reason that
I hope they wouldn't.
Yeah, you'd hope no one would do that. And even though you'd rather it be that way, like you say, it does leave the question mark of like, but what specifically was wrong with me? And it's like, you don't actually want to know, but you are also like, well, it's something.
Yeah.
So like, there's something that like...
Yeah. And I do think what's as hard as well is essentially where for you can see loads of reasons why you like them and they're ticking all these boxes.
And like why you'd get on. Like,
so almost you're like, so why, like, would you not feel the same?
Yeah.
When it's like, from my perspective, this is like a great match or this is a great idea. So why can't you just get on board with it?
Yeah. So then what would you say to someone that like has just been rejected and is just struggling with all those questions of like, so cool. Like, you know, where it just like has hit real deep and it's like, it just...
Yeah.
Like I'm questioning everything.
Yeah. I mean, I do think that often, not to get really deep, but like, I guess something like being rejected in a moment like this, what we're talking about, where you're putting yourself out there, saying that you like someone. And then I guess my thinking is actually a lot of the thoughts that might come after are probably, yes, linked. They are linked to this situation in this moment, but maybe actually bigger in the sense of, you know, their insecurities that are deeper than just that this one person doesn't like me. And obviously that's a moment for them to surface and kind of manifest themselves. But actually, it's, I guess, almost a revealing moment of these insecurities exist in me. And I probably need to go and unpack them outside of just like this one scenario.
Yeah, because I would say it's like a question of how deeply it hits. Like, the reality is no one likes to be rejected. It's hard for everyone, even the most secure person. When you're told, I don't like you, I don't want to date you, you're like, oh, like it is just crap for anyone to hear.
Yeah.
It's not like some people hear that and are like, yes, sick, cool, like awesome. Like, but there are like levels, I think, of how deeply it impacts you. And also, like you were saying earlier, maybe how many times it's happened and whether because of that, there are some like insecurities or thoughts that have kind of like began to like go deep in you that then get like triggered by these situations. But I think like you just kind of have to take a moment and be like, okay, how am I actually feeling? Like if I'm just, you know, sad and a bit embarrassed, but like it's okay. It hasn't, you know, made me really question who I am and my worth as a person. Then it's like, okay, cool. You're probably thinking like fairly healthily. And in that moment, it's like just the classics of like, just get the people around you that like love you, like just like hang out with them.
Get the ice cream out.
Get the cookies out. No, but like hang out with people, like take your mind off it. Try not to maybe be around that person if possible, but it's not always possible. But then if like Soph said, I guess you're rejected and you are literally like almost
I'm unworthy of being
like
loved.
I'm
never
really,
gonna find.
I'm really deeply impacted. Yeah. And I'm questioning like everything. Like that again, like is okay. Like I think that happens to a lot of people, but it's like, okay, what are the actual deeper insecurities and things about myself that I'm believing that actually just aren't true? And I need someone to help me like unpack them or get to the root of them because like you are worthy of being loved. And like just because one person doesn't want that with you doesn't mean that no one will, doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you. Ultimately it comes down to compatibility and what different people are like looking for. And just because you don't, you know, tick those boxes for someone doesn't mean that you're not going to for anyone else.
And I think also it's just the reality of you will probably face rejection at another point in your life. And so if this is just going to happen every time that you have to put yourself out there or you face rejection, then it's like, I actually, you know, you don't want to, you know, have to go through those really painful emotions or just feel really insecure every time that happens, because it's probably not the last time that it will happen. And so, like we said, there is just a fundamental part of being rejected that is crap, and you will feel sad and you will feel maybe a bit embarrassed or whatever. But I think, essentially where it's just triggering those deeper insecurities, it's like, actually, I'm going to use this as a moment of learning. Like, I've learned this about myself, that this thing exists and this insecurity is there, and I'm not just going to ignore it or let it pass or die down again or push it down. I'm going to face it. I'm going to start working out why is that there, unpack it. Because again, you know, when you inevitably face rejection again, actually, wouldn't it be great if, it's still difficult, but it's not like hitting all these deep insecurities. Yeah.
And I think the final thing I'd say is also like, don't lose sight of kind of what you'd actually love in a partner or in a relationship. Because I know for me, there's been moments where like I may have liked someone and I've got really caught up in it, and I like, you know, have been trying to work out what to do and, you know, stressed about the whole thing and whatever. And I've kind of had these moments of being like, wait, hold on, like what have I always really desired or wanted, or how would I want like a friend to be treated by a guy or whatever? And like, if you have put yourself out there and you've been rejected, like that's okay. It's not that other person's fault. But equally, like you want to be with someone who wants to be with you.
Yeah.
Like you want to be with someone that makes you feel so loved, that pursues you as you pursue them, like matches how deeply you like them. Like obviously that's like the dream. So I think you've also just got to remember, like, actually, if this person doesn't want to be with me, I don't want to be with them then. And like, I know it's easier said than done when you feel like you do want to be with them. But like in the bigger picture, you want to be with someone that truly wants to be with you.
Yeah, for sure.
Not someone that doesn't.
Yeah. I saw this quote on Instagram actually where it was basically saying, imagine how much you like this person that doesn't even like you back. And then think about someone loving you back the same amount that you love them. And essentially around the whole thing of you're giving your all to this person that isn't even really giving you anything back or doesn't even like you. And then imagine how in a relationship or, you know, a situation where it's so equal, you love them, they love you, just how much better that is. Like you were saying, I think it's so easy to lose perspective when you really like someone. It's so consuming. It's all you can think about.
You forget what you've like always wanted or how you want to be loved.
Yeah.
And you're just like, I just want the person.
Yeah.
It's
And you're like, I like this person so much and they don't even like me back. And that just feels like such a kind of, it's not a waste of energy, but it almost just feels like you're pouring yourself in and you're getting nothing back.
And you just need that moment of being like, wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Like you say, like that quote says, like, actually, how would this feel if this person reciprocated these feelings? It would feel amazing. Right now, does it feel amazing? No.
Yeah.
So like as savage and as hard as it is,
that's what I
need
deserve.
to pull back and stop investing.
Yeah.
Like where it's like, cool. Like if you don't want me, I'll go find someone who does.
Amen, sister.
But yeah, oh, it's hard, guys.
Yeah.
It is hard. But
if you've been rejected,
if you're out there and you've been pied,
just remember, it's not just you.
It's not just you. We've both been pied.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's more pies to come.
I'm sure there are.
Many more pies to be served. And even wider than just relationships, I think it is just good to talk about rejection and just talk about how to deal with it. And just try and separate being rejected from like then you questioning who you are and your worth.
Yeah.
Because you are worth
being loved.
And as cringe as that is, it's true.
Yep.
And you'd want that for your friends, you'd want that for your family. So it's important to want that for yourself.
What a good note to end on.
That was Sophie and Rach talking about being pied.
Oh, thanks for listening, guys.
I hope you enjoyed it.
We'll see you in the next episode.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.